spite of a warning voice that comes in the night and repeats in my ear. Don't you know, you fool, you never can win. Use your mentality, step up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop before I begin. 'Cause I've got you, you're under my skin. I'd sacrifice anything, come what might, for the sake of having you near, in spite of a warning voice that comes in the night and repeats how it yells in these ears. Don't you know, you fool, no chance to win. Why not choose your mentality? Wake up, step up to reality. But each time I do, just the thought of you makes me stop just before I begin. Because I've got you under my skin, and I love you under my skin.
Hold your head up, lift the top of your mind, put your eyes on the earth, lift your heart to your own home plan. What do you see? What is your attitude? Are you here to improve or damn it? Look right now, and you will see we're only here by the skin of our teeth as it is. So take heart and take care of your link with life and saying, keep playing and praying. It ain't money that makes the world go round. That's only temporary confusion. It ain't governments that make the people strong. It's the opposite illusion. Look right now, and you will see they're only here by the skin of their teeth as it is. So take heart and take care of your link with life now. Keep saying and playing and praying. Oh, carry it on. Look right now, and you will see we're only here by the skin of our teeth as it is. So take heart and take care of your link with life. It's beautiful if you got the sense to take care of your source of perfection. Mother Nature, she's the daughter of God and the source of all protection. Look right now, and you will see she's only here by the skin of her teeth as it is. So take heart and take care of your link with life.
Tell me quando, quando, quando we can share a love divine. Please don't make me wait again. When will you say yes to me?
When will you say yes to me?
Tell me quando, quando, quando
Tell me quando, quando, quando
you mean happiness to me.
you mean happiness to me.
Oh my love, please tell me when. Every moment's a day.
Every moment's a day.
Every day seems a lifetime.
Every day seems like a lifetime.
Let me show you the way.
Let me show you the way to a joy beyond compare. I can't wait a moment more. Tell me quando, quando, quando.
Tell me quando, quando, quando
Just say it's me that you adore.
and then darling tell me when. Every moment's a day.
Every moment's a day.
Every day seems a lifetime. Let me show you the way.
Let me show you the way
to a joy beyond compare. Ooh, yeah. I can't wait a moment more.
I can't wait a moment more.
Tell me quando, quando, quando. Say it's me that you adore. And then, darling, tell me when. Oh, my darling, tell me when.
I come back to the place you are. All my instincts, they return, and the grand facade so soon will burn. Without a noise, without my pride, I reach out from the inside. In your eyes, the light, the heat, I am complete. I see the doorway to 1,000 churches, the resolution of all the fruitless searches. Oh, I see the light and the heat. Oh, I wanna be that complete. I wanna touch the light, the heat I see in your eyes. Love. Oh, I don't like to see so much pain, so much wasted, and this moment keeps slipping away. I get so tired working so hard for our survival. I look to the time with you to keep me awake and alive. Then all of my instincts, they return, and the grand facade so soon will burn. Without a noise, without my pride, I reach out from the inside.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to Emerge 2022, the Media Reset.
Before we go any further, we need to acknowledge that the University of Guelph Humber, Barrett Center, and Humber College are located within the treaty lands of the Mississauga of the Credit. Known as Etobicoke, the place of the elders, Nishi-Saw Geek language, the region is uniquely situated along Humber River watershed, which historically provided an integral connection to Anishinaabe, Haudenosaunee, and Wyandot, peoples between the Ontario Lakeshore and the Lake Simcoe Georgian Bay regions. Now home to the people of numerous nations and backgrounds, Etobicoke continues to provide a vital source for interconnection to all.
We, as users and consumers of technology, have access to more information than ever before, right at our fingertips. We can access information from the GTA just as easily as we can access information from a city in Australia.
Well, if we all have access to the same information, then why don't we as a society, as a human race, agree more on topics and issues? Because the media we choose to consume can create different opinions. It's all about how we consume the media. News outlets, information technology, social media apps, and storytelling have been at the forefront of our lives for the past 2 years. COVID-19 hit us all, and everyone's eyes were glued to their screens for information, friendships, schooling, connections, and more.
Many media companies had to shift their approach and adapt to new techniques in order to reach their audience. Changes had to be made quickly to strive to survive during the pandemic, adjusting and learning how to succeed. It seems as though we may be approaching the end of the tunnel with this pandemic, knock on wood. But what does the future of the media industry look like from here? The media and how we consume it is altered. So how do you stay afloat? Well, that's why we are here today at Emerge 2022, the Media Reset.
we will take a deep dive into the media industry with professionals who are working and fully immersed in it right now. Get your questions answered and learn something new about this fascinating industry. This is your chance to get a sneak peek into what the media and communications industry really looks like. Thank you so much for joining us today, because without your registration and interest, we would not be here presenting to you all. The Emerge Capstone Project allows us fourth-year students to gain real-world experience and to use the skills and education we received at Guelph Humber in a practical way. So truly, thank you all so much for being here and giving us this wonderful opportunity. After all, Emerge, the Media Reset, is made by students for students.
Oh man, we were so excited to tell you all about Emerge that we forgot to introduce ourselves. My name is Abby,
And I'm Aaliyah.
and we are so excited to be your hosts for the Emerge conference this year, not to mention the first female hosts for Emerge ever. Thank you.
Thank you. Emerge itself is a multimedia project in which all fourth-year students of the Media and Communication Studies program come together to work collaboratively. In our program, there are 5 specializations: public relations, multimedia journalism, media management and analytics, visual communications, and digital marketing and social media. Our friends over in the multimedia journalism class have been conducting interviews and writing articles over the past few months for the Emerge print and web magazines. The theme for this year's magazine is the non-linear path. They are currently in the final stages of the magazine launch and will be released and distributed very soon. In addition to the magazine, the students also produced a podcast called Varsity Clues, Myths, and Legends, which you can listen to via SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. We even have a session dedicated to podcasting, Metapod, that will be streamed during our virtual conference that is taking place tomorrow afternoon. The students have been tasked to work with 6 external clients to create a response to a presented business challenge. 4 teams will be presenting their marketing communications plans to their peers, clients, and a panel of judges. A winner will be chosen at the end, so stay tuned to see which team will come out on top. Over at the Emerge Instazine team, the students have turned their Instagram page into a vital source of creative entertainment. Their content includes Music Monday, Showcase Sunday, Humans of GH, and my personal favorite, Whisker Wednesdays, which feature our students' cutes and adorable pets. As for the visual showcase team, they are putting on an interactive exhibit that showcases artwork and photography from our very own GH students. If you look behind you, the gallery is located over there in that room, so please feel free to check it out in between breaks. All right, who has seen the Emerge social media pages and websites? Good, good, good. Shout out to the graphic design team and the video documentary team for creating brand identity for Emerge. From logos to poster designs, the designers created wonderful graphics for everyone to see. As for the Emerge web magazine team, they have created an amazing website for the magazine, which features articles from the upcoming Emerge magazine, as well as past editions. The official launch of their website is on March 31st, and you can find them at emergemagazine.ca. And of course, shout out to the conference website team. The website looks beautiful, and without them, we would not have been able to provide you with all the information about this conference. Last but not least, we have the public relations class, and this is the specialization that the 2 of us are a part of and part of the team who planned this conference. From event management to social media and marketing to writing and editing, we have been working hard these past few months to bring Emerge 2022, the Media Reset, to life. Creating this conference has been a long journey with many milestones and obstacles to overcome, but it's definitely a journey that the entire 4th-year class is very proud of. Yes, you're so right. After experiencing what seems like a lifetime of world events together in the past 4 years, it just seems right that we're here hosting for Emerge. Planning a conference with so much uncertainty in the world has had its challenges, but we are so ready. The Media Reset will explore the rapid and ever-changing media landscape, from TikToks to podcasts, how-to workshops, panel discussions, and so much more. We also have an amazing visual showcase featuring art from our Guelph Humber students, so please be sure to check out our recruitment booth. Feel free to share your time on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter by tagging us at EmergeTO and using hashtag Emerge2022 and hashtag The Media Reset.
The pandemic has made social gatherings a little tough to come by, but through our dedication and perseverance for the safety of our peers, we are slowly beginning to open up. The Megan Group is an industry-leading event production group founded by Gian Megan and his twin, Paige, in 1998. With over 20 years of experience planning and executing large-scale events, Gian has had the opportunity to expand his business portfolio in owning event venues, music agencies, digital activation businesses, and so much more, including the increasingly popular avenue of esports.
Throughout the pandemic, the Megan Group has managed to stay afloat, twisting and turning to keep events interesting while simultaneously adhering to provincial guidelines. With an array of skills in his toolbox, Gian is vitally committed to humanitarian efforts such as organizing the annual Grads Go Global Bash, which helps raise funds for the construction of a Tanzanian orphanage.
No matter the task at hand, Gion's belief in hard work, integrity, and bringing people together has cemented the Megan Group as a first-class presence in North America's entertainment community. Everyone, please welcome Gian Megan here today to share a little bit more about the Megan Group and how they rose above in the midst of COVID-19. Give it up for Mr. Megan.
Hi guys, how are we today? Put this down here. Oh my God, this is so crazy. Good to see you all. I'm so happy and honored to be here with you all and just be able to share some of my journey and my story, and just be back in person with people and, you know, communicating not online. So, as you heard, my name is Gian Megan, and I am one of the Megan brothers. This is me and my twin brother, right here. We're identical twins, and best friends and partners, and I'm going to just share with you a bit about our history and how we came about and how we got to where we are. So, it all starts in the beginning. We were two kids who were born here in Toronto. Our parents immigrated from the country of Iran in the 70s, and they fled the revolution, and it was quite a turbulent time growing up. You know, but our parents did really well for us, you know, and they just built a life as best they could, even though they had left everything behind in that country. So we didn't know any better, you know, but they had definitely been through quite a number of issues and years of trauma. But we had a pretty interesting life growing up. My brother and I, our parents spoke to us in Farsi from age 0 to 5. And then for whatever reason, they sent us to French immersion for the first few years of kindergarten and school. And then we had moved and we had gone to an English school, and they were like, who are these alien kids, right? Like, we literally, by grade 4, we didn't even know how to speak English properly, okay? And it was just because of the unique way we were brought up. Now, our father was the Olympic ping pong champion of Iran. And we knew nothing much but ping pong growing up. It was a big part of our upbringing, and he was awesome, and he's still around, and he still can play a little bit. So we had a pretty good life, you know, just lots of love and care. But you know, in the background there was a lot of trauma that our parents had dealt with. Now, I'm not sure if you guys know who these guys are, but you know, we were 4 or 5 years old, and we were playing in front of the TV, or we had a babysitter watching the WWF, the WWE, and these two guys were on the TV. We didn't know who they were. We didn't really care either. But all we knew was our babysitter would scream at the TV and be like, beat him up and this and that. And my mom had overheard some of the rumblings that was going on TV, and she ran into the room carrying this pot from the kitchen, and she's like, who's making all those noise? Who's saying all those bad words in Farsi? And we didn't even know what was going on, but this man with the mustache was an Iranian wrestler, and my mom dropped the pot in her hand and screamed, "Oh my God, that's your daddy's friend. That's your daddy's best friend." And we were like, huh? What? Like, what do you mean? And it so happened that this man was the Iranian wrestling champion, and we were my father was the Iranian ping pong champion. And they had to separate after the revolution, and there was no internet, and there was no Facebook, and so they just lost touch. And so, lo and behold, this man was the most hated man in North America, and he was on TV, and he was my father's best friend. And it's not like today where you may see someone on TV and you may know someone who was on TV. In the 80s, that didn't happen, right? So it was a really crazy kind of stimulation for us. Again, we're these weirdo kids, who were just dressed funny with funny names. I always say this, when we were growing up, when kids would go to school with their lunchbox and they'd have like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and like a granola bar, like when we would open up our lunchbox, like a bird would fly out. Like it was just, but my parents would send us to school with these really deep dishes of stews and rice. It was not easy. But we had this man, the Iron Sheik, and for the next 4 or 5 years of our lives, every time wrestling came to the Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, we would go and we would take the wrestlers with my father. We'd pick them up and take them to the show, and we'd watch the show, and we'd literally be sitting on Andre the Giant's lap. I'm wearing this Andre the Giant sweater today, and Hulk Hogan and all these big, larger-than-life characters, and we were just these like little immigrant Iranian kids, and it ended up happening where this was like all we did and all we worked for was to do good in school and to do our chores was so that we could get to go to the wrestling matches at the Gardens, and it was quite the thrill. And we would emulate these guys, and probably started backyard wrestling before backyard wrestling became a thing, and we were hooked. And it's a big part of a little bit of our journey because we didn't have the really the foundation for where we are today without the wrestling. And so life went on, and we grew up, and we're in high school, and our parents basically had put all their money into a bunch of different businesses, one being a carpet business right around the corner from here, and then they had also put their money into like 3 condos down by the waterfront, one for me, one for my brother, one for my sister. And within a year, everything went upside down. They had opened their business the day before the largest recession that ever occurred in Canadian history. And at the same time, the condos that they bought for us, it's considered one of the biggest catastrophes in Canadian real estate history. They had lost their deposits. And so literally, we went from living a pretty decent, comfortable life to eviction notice on the door, 30 days to get out, and we had no choice but to just now start all over again. And so, so now how did this happen? How did these 2 Iranian kids, who weren't even, I keep saying like, I failed gym, and I failed grade 9 math 4 times, okay? Like, we were the worst students ever, okay? We probably were the poster children for ADD, ADHD. There was Ritalin in everything. Ritalin in my sandwiches, Ritalin in my soup. Like, we were hyperactive. And even went as far as, at prom night in high school, we won the award for most likely to go to jail, okay? And, you know, these are all things that, like, honestly, the pandemic has helped me realize, like, holy crap, you know, how did all this happen? And so I'm very grateful that I can be here with you guys and share my story, because I didn't even realize there was a story, okay? So how did this all happen? Well, it happened when these two punks, my brother and I, were in high school, and I did 6 years of high school. Right, back then they had OAC, so I ended up having to do another year after grade 13, so you call it grade 14. And we were just kind of really bad students, but, you know, fun guys. We like to, you know, cause trouble and do all the things that you would think twins could do and would do and pull off. And we were in our high school fashion show, and we were completely like not paying attention. The organizers were so upset with us. They would continuously have to like babysit us, but because they were our friends, they couldn't kick us out. So they're like, look, all we need you guys to do, and this was a punishment, I need you guys to plan the party, the after party for the fashion show, okay? And we're like, well, what do you mean? They're like, find a place, get a DJ, and as long as the 40 people in the show are included, you guys can charge a cover and you guys can keep the rest of the profits. And we're like, what? That's what we have to do? They're like, yeah. So my brother and I, we were up for the challenge. And so we started to really think about how we can make this party kind of really exciting. And so we had gone to a bunch of different high schools to promote. And one of the high schools we had gone into, we were looking for somebody named David. And we would literally barge into the classes and be like, where's David? Who's David, right? Are you David? And next thing you know, the whole school's like, oh, these two twins are looking for this guy named David. And all of a sudden, like, school bell rings, it's 3 o'clock, everyone's outside, oh shit, this is gonna go down. These twins are gonna beat up David. And the principal came out. And the principal came out and was like, who are you guys? What are you doing here? We're like, none of your business. We would mouth off to the principal because we couldn't get in trouble because it wasn't our school. Next thing you know, David comes out and everyone's like, oh my goodness. Everyone's praying for David. And right when I'm about to like punch David right in the head, I grab into my jacket, I grab all the flyers, and David goes into his jacket, takes out flyers. My brother takes out flyers, and we promoted the party right there. So it was like guerrilla marketing before it ever started, but you know, this one party, you know, which was our kind of signature party, was shut down by 10:30 because there was over 1,500 people in attendance. And it was that night where we had come home with $15,000 in cash. And our parents literally thought we robbed a store, okay? And we just said, here, we gave them the money, and we ended up getting them out of debt, and we ended up moving out of the apartment, and we ended up throwing parties like religiously. Whatever the occasion, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, Bob Marley's birthday, it doesn't matter, okay? We threw a party for no reason, and we became these party guys, and it was all we wanted to do. And so one thing led to another, and we still had this deep passion for wrestling, right? And so what we would do is when we'd go and do these shenanigans at the schools, we would also like beat each other up in front of people just to like get their attention. And one thing led to another. We decided to put on a wrestling match in our town of Thornhill, in which we rented out the arena, and we put on a huge wrestling match. And it was, the main event was these two guys who were later to go on to be in WWF, WWE, but then it was me versus my twin brother in a wrestling match. And this all happened within the course of a year, and we were just so hooked. You know, we just had the bug. And yes, we were still in school. I had gone on to York University, and my brother had gone on to Seneca College. But our real passion was for doing these things that ended up becoming a career for us. I can't see. Oh, okay. So So then what happens is, so how did we get into the events business in general? Well, one day we were having a bagel at a restaurant for breakfast, and this lady came up with her teenage daughter, and she said, hey, my daughter says you guys throw the best parties. Can you come and do my younger daughter's bat mitzvah next year? And we're like, huh? What? Like, I think I was like rolling a joint under the table, okay? Like, I was like, what is going on here, okay? Anyways, we forgot about it, and we just moved on with our lives. And then about 6 months later, we're in the same bagel place, and that woman prances in, and my brother and I go like, oh my God, there's that lady, like duck. And she ran up to us and she said, boys, what's going on? The party's in a few months. I've been trying to get a hold of you. Like, there's no Instagram, there's no Facebook, we're not in the yellow pages. She's like, we really need to get together and have a meeting and talk about this party. What's the name of your company, boys? And we looked at each other, we're like, the Megan Boys? And that's it. From that one party, and sorry, the sun's in my light. From that one party, we built a little crew and a little roster of DJs and dancers and hosts, and we started to put on these events, and 1 led to 2, led to 3, led to 10, led to 10 in a weekend, and it turned into this big situation. And I still to this day don't understand how it happened, because it really, there was no formal education for it. Like I said, we were the lousiest students, and we just did it. It was relentless. It was just continuously pushing and doing whatever we could to keep things going, to get our parents out of debt, and really just go. There was, I often say, like, people, with this pandemic, again, I haven't had a break in 20 years, right? This pandemic was like a brick wall, and I look back and I say, I don't even know how that all happened. And so when I'm putting these slides together the last week, it was emotional because, again, we were the least likely to succeed. We were the least likely to do anything. We were in special education classes our whole lives. I literally remember, like, for most of my elementary school career, I was in a half day, I was in a class with regular kids, but the other half, it was me, a girl who you had to speak into a box so she could hear you, and like a few handicapped kids. Like, I was in that class. Like, it was quite traumatizing, but I honestly didn't even think about these things until this past week, right? Like, I'm just like, holy cow. So sorry to rant like that, but I'm having a hard time seeing the screen. Let me just see. So yeah, so we built this roster, and we kind of built it like it was wrestling. We had different characters and different personalities, and the Megan Boys Entertainment, to a certain part of Toronto, I'm proud to say, has become a bit of a household name for having big parties, big sweet 16s, big bat mitzvahs, bar mitzvahs. And then what happened is all the kids whose bar mitzvahs we did are now getting married. So we're doing all their weddings, and then they're growing up and they're working in corporations, and we're doing their corporate events, and we're producing a lot of their different engagements. So we've done everything from concerts to big productions. That was a Deadmau5 concert. We bring in talent. We produce just big events. That you would just imagine. And now these are some of the companies that we've created, that we've owned, that we've sold, that we've invested in. It's happened, and it's still growing. But these are just some of the different groups that we're involved in, and we ended up, throwing parties for people in the States and doing really cool, like dreamy events with some awesome individuals, and we got to really focus on the things that we're passionate about, right? Like, I always thought, like, oh, I want to do more serious stuff, or I want to do more, I want to be more sophisticated, or maybe I should stop wearing the hat and running shoes. Like, these are things that over the years I had you know, I had been told or I've noticed, you know, and I'm like, oh, how am I going to be taken seriously? Well, you know, in time, if you stay committed to what you love, if you are doing what you love, you know, yes, there's going to be hard times and you're going to have to figure out how to pay your rent and pay your phone bills and get through. But if you love what you do, you're not working a day in your life, okay? So, yes, we got to do some cool stuff with some cool people, and just be a part of, you know, be with people that we looked up to and got to work with them on a personal basis. So I'm sure you recognize some of these peeps. Oh, and so you guys know who that is? Hulk Hogan, yeah. So still, unfortunately, you know, the wrestling thing has not left us. We still love wrestling. And, you know, no matter what, you know, I don't know. I keep saying, like, am I ever going to get over this? But, like, it's in me. It's one of my passions, and I fully embrace my passion. And so I have, you know, I went from putting on these shows to now I'm a wrestler on the side. And so my name is Gian Megan. And so my wrestling character's name is Celine Gian. And I'm the most hated wrestler in my own world. And I put on these shows where we raise a ton of money for charity. You know, we just do it because it's like a day off. Whenever we have a show, it's like a day off for us, and producing the excitement, and we've raised a ton of money, like I said, you know, for different organizations, and it's just like it's like a childhood, you know, dream. Obviously, I never was good enough to do the big league stuff, but this is still a part of what we do, and I really enjoy it. I think I put like a rabbi through a table. That was one of the first things I've ever done. I put a rabbi through a table, yeah. And so this was all happening for the last, you know, 19, 20 plus years. And, you know, and then all of a sudden we hit a brick wall and our business crumbled to the ground, literally lit on fire and disintegrated. And this is very early on, right? Like March 16th, 2020, they shut everything down. And we all know everyone had their fair share of turbulence. But, you know, I know people who made a lot of money during this pandemic, right? So for some people, it was actually a blessing. But for others, it was a disaster. And, you know, we had 1,000 events on the books, okay? And each event has $1,000 to $2,000 deposit, for example. So when you do the math, you're like, oh shit, that's a lot of money. No, that's not how it works. There's not $2 million in the bank account, right? The business runs off of deposits and runs off of cash flow, right? And within 2 weeks, we had 400 events booked for April, May, and June, and everybody either canceled or postponed or switched. It was like bonkers, okay? It was super intense, and it was scary, right? Because we're looking, you know, and thankfully, you know, we're not the guys that were getting called out for screwing people over, or taking someone's wedding and ruining it, or, you know, there are companies out there that I'm actually like embarrassed to be associated with, you know, going into and working at. You know, if you were getting married, and then, you know, in May of 2020, and you had said, okay, I don't feel comfortable getting married, there are companies that sued the clients and said, you know, you still got to pay, you have a contract, or just nonsense, which is not the spirit of how we do things. Yes, we run a business, but the human side was very important, and so we took a hit. We got smashed, and literally within 2 weeks, we looked and we're like, we're actually going to go bankrupt. Like, we're actually going to lose our shirts. And this is where, you know, we start remembering, like, oh my God, look at all the stuff that happened prior. And, you know, and this is where I started to really reflect and, you know, how did we get here? And And so we just breathed and we just kind of just took it day by day. And then 2 weeks later, there was silence. That's it. The phone's not ringing. No one's calling to switch their dates anymore because all that stuff was done. And now we had to just be us and work on, on just keeping the business alive. And my twin brother started to go on Instagram every night. And he just called it Late Night with Paige Megan. And he would go on and he would just shoot the shit with people. And one of our clients was a doctor. So he would come on and he would talk to us about, what's happening in the hospitals and what masks to wear. Like, no one had the playbook on pandemic, right? And then the next night, another doctor came on. And then someone had messaged him saying, I'm a caterer. I really enjoyed what you did last night. I really felt that, it helped me. Do you mind if I send you a meal kit for you and your family? And he was like, oh, okay. And then my brother then promoted the meal kit, discount code, COVID. Next thing you know, people started to reach out to him, and, he had a whiskey company send him bottles and, can you promote it on your show? Because there was 500-600 people watching his lives. And then he started to do outreach, and he got the president of the Miami Dolphins, and he got this wrestler and this comedian. And this is all end of March, early April 2020. So you're like, okay, this is all happening. This is a new world, right? All he was doing was pressing live. But he had gotten, someone reached out to him and said, hey, can you do some of this stuff for us? And, you hear the fake it till you make it, right? He just pushed live on Instagram, okay? And one thing led to another. Until today, we've now done over 1,500 Zoom funerals, okay? And our business went from weddings and bar mitzvahs and birthdays to funerals. And this is not because I'm a smart guy or crafty. It's just because we pressed live and because we said yes, right? Yes and no both have real powerful meanings to them. That, if you say yes, you're opening the door for an opportunity, and when you say no, you're closing the door for an opportunity. And obviously, you don't want to say yes to something that you don't know what to do. But the one thing I started to realize was, now that our business is burning to the ground, okay, we're about to go bankrupt. And for some reason, we looked at each other and we said, well, as long as we got each other, right? As long as I could go work at Starbucks, right? I could go, maybe I'd be the manager in a month. Maybe I'd buy the Starbucks, right? And we started to think while one door has closed, a complete other door opened. And so we started to really kind of just activate ourselves. And my brother and I, for the first time in our lives, we split up and we divided and conquered all of the responsibilities in the business. And we didn't look back, And yes, we've been financially affected, but spiritually and emotionally, our emotional intelligence has expanded. And in the last 2 years, we got attached to a bunch of different businesses and deals, one being esports, where we are founders and investors of the Toronto Ultra esports team and the Toronto Defy It with Overactive Media. And we're not, this isn't just us, but we're a part of a group that's building this massive esports arena down by the water. This all happened in the last 2 years. We also built a deck for a TV series for kids that's being optioned right now. And as you saw before, we are very, very much involved with giving back, and this makes us really happy, right? Being able to do things that can help others, even just like being here today. This is equally as as important for me, if it is important to you. This is just a thrill to be able to share this story with you guys. And in our 20th anniversary was during the pandemic, and so we had plans to throw this massive party, right? It was going to be like huge, and we were probably going to spend so much money, and it was going to be like all about us, and and let's celebrate us and invite people, and I don't want to say be fake, but just like ha ha ha, just. And then we realized, like, you know what? Who cares about this? What do we need to award for? So we ended up deciding to do another type of give back, and we created what's called the Joy Drive, in which we went and collected over 20,000 toys and distributed them to underserved neighborhoods in Toronto. And now this was in the first year. Now in our second year, it grew even bigger, and you look and you realize, it's not about the business anymore. It's about a higher responsibility. And for the first time in my life, I could be with my family. I can do things where I literally did not stop. And so I'm very blessed to have 3 boys and a beautiful wife. And pretty much that's the Coles Notes story. But as you can imagine, there's a lot more. So I hope you enjoyed it. Does anyone have any questions or anything?
Hi, we have Aaliyah walking around with the microphone. If anybody has any questions for Gian, we have about 5 or 10 minutes before we wrap up. So just raise your hand and Aaliyah will bring you the mic.
And here's the thing. I've done a couple of these, and there isn't too many people asking questions. I urge you to just find a question. There's no silly questions, right?
We have one over here.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Zoe. I'm
Zoe?
a 4th year media student. I just wanted to ask how you met Beyonce, how that happened.
So we just opened an American office. We've been doing stuff in the States, and we were able to produce an after party at the Grammys, and she was there. She was a guest.
What's like a one line of advice, like words to live by?
Does it have to be one line? So, these days, I really try and simplify things. It's so easy to get caught up in, oh my God, what am I going to do? What am I going to do when I graduate? How am I going to buy a house or a condo? How? And it's so easy to catastrophize everything. And so one thing I've realized is that with the, quickness of the way the world works and just how fast, we have access to information, I think the modeling of people have changed, right? Like, you watch Netflix because you watch what you want when you want, right? You can order Uber Eats because you want to eat what you want to eat when you want to eat. You don't want to eat what's in your fridge. You want to know what you can eat now. And so, while that's cool, it's definitely taken away from some of the, it's become like everyone's mind has become a microwave, right? And, in order, what happens when you only eat microwave food, right? It's not good. And so it's those beautiful meals that are planned out and methodically put together that are really what's going to help you guys grow and succeed. And so I know that's a big mouthful, but when I speak to people and they're like, well, I got to figure out what I'm going to do, and I'm like, you're talking about step 17, right? Like, you haven't talked about step 1, 2, or 3 yet, and you're already worrying about step 17. So I often tell people to slow down, right? Like, lay out your map. My wife hates it when I say this. Okay, but if you were going to rob a bank, okay, are you going to be more successful when you run into the bank and be like, give me all your money? Or if you Say, okay, I'm going to go to the bank and I'm going to make sure, oh, there's that old lady. She's working in that teller. She usually works on Wednesdays. Okay, I'm going to go by next Wednesday and I'm going to scout the neighborhood. Oh shit, there's this police officer that parks there near the Tim Hortons every day. So I'm not going to come at 3, right? And am I going to come in with a gun? Am I going to come in with a note? Am I going to this or am I going to that? You know, who's the getaway driver, right? You're going to be more successful when you lay out the plan, okay? And from step 1 to step 17, okay? And I think there's a lot of that missing in the world, especially in entrepreneurship. Everyone just wants that quick fix, and nothing's quick anymore, okay? You know, that's worthwhile, okay? Another little thing that I do is I hear too many people being like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do that. Oh, my God. You know, just like, oh, can you do a funeral on Zoom, right? Most people would say no. But let's be honest with each other, okay? If you were asked to do a funeral on Zoom, okay, even though you've never done one before, do you really think that you couldn't pull it off? Like, you know, do you really think that it's the most impossible thing? I often hear students and people in general talk as if whatever the tasks that they're being asked to do, they make it seem like they're being asked to invent the self-driving car, okay? Like, you know, put yourself on a permanent game show. That's how I do things now, okay? When someone asks me for something, I look at it like I'm on a game show, okay? And really, there is no wrong answer on the Showcase Showdown, because if I get it wrong, I can get it right in just a minute, or I could just get it right the next day. So it's important that you create little methods of cheating for your own good that can help, help you shortcut to your answers. So there's my single line. We're done? Okay, guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. And I one last thing. If you have LinkedIn, if you have this, reach out, okay? Like, knock on doors, okay? Make yourself be noticed, okay? There is a massive shortage of people who are looking to work. No, there's a massive job issue, right? But when I tell you from my perspective, we're having an impossible time finding people. And I know I'm not the only one. So be aggressive, okay? Flag down that plane, okay? Like, do what you gotta do. Work for free if you can afford it. Do whatever you have to do, because in the end, opportunities are not what you're given, it's what you're making of it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to Gian for the informative session. I hope to attend one of your events someday soon, and hopefully we will be able to attend more conferences and gatherings. It looks like things are really starting to look up.
Awesome. All right. So let's see here. Insightful and captivating keynote talk. Tick.
Aaliyah, isn't keeping track of the progression the executive director's kind of gig?
I guess, but checking items off the list is pretty satisfying, don't you think?
Okay, but let's save that for later.
One more, just one more. Fine. So up next, we have TikTok in front and behind the For You page. Joining us on this fabulous panel, we have 3 University of Guelph Humber alumni, all with a strong connection to TikTok. Victoria Manicus is a client solutions manager, and in her role, she's responsible for overseeing, developing, and executing best-in-class advertising programs for quick service restaurant and pharmaceutical clients. while Naomi Lineage and Zoya are professional content creators with strong TikTok followings. Zoya has always wanted to amplify the voices of women, specifically South Asian women, through her art. She loves incorporating her culture into her art, and her mission as an artist is to continue telling stories of underrepresented people of color. Naomi loves to entertain and educate through sharing fashion, comedy, travel, and self-care content on her Instagram and TikTok. Her main goal is to inspire and encourage others to become their best selves and live their best lives. Today, they will be discussing their TikTok journey and the role that the popular social media app has played in it. It's safe to say that TikTok has captivated all of us, sometimes for so long that they even suggest that we take a break. But now it's time to see it from a new perspective.
Intriguing intro to panel discussion. Talk.
You crossed my list, and for my joke? Ugh.
Amalia, don't you have somewhere you need to be?
Oh, right, this is me.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Hello. Okay. Oh my God.
Okay, hello.
Hi.
Naomi, you there?
Okay. So, hello all. How are you?
Good.
How does it feel to be back at Guelph Humber?
Good. Oh my God, I haven't been here in so long. I was
know.
driving here. I was like, oh my God, it's so cool.
Yeah, little blast from the past.
Yeah.
For sure. Walking into the parking lot, for sure.
New building.
Yeah, I like the parking. I'm assuming you guys haven't seen the garage.
No, I
Parking
haven't seen
garage?
it yet.
Yes, very helpful.
Oh,
Been very
nice.
helpful, yes. All right, so before we get started, maybe we can just talk a bit about your journey. So how TikTok basically just came a part of your life and what specialization you guys graduated from. So I guess for the sake of the conference, just because there's 3 of us, we'll kind of go in a rotation of Victoria, Zoya, and then we'll go on to Naomi on the big screen.
Yeah,
cool.
That sounds great. So I graduated Guelph Humber in 2018, the Media Studies program, and fortunately for those of us who partake in the program, we had the opportunity to be part of an internship during our time here. So I started at DHX Media, which is a leading children's content and brands company. You might be familiar with them because they own and operate the Family Channel, among a few other broadcast networks that were pretty big in our childhood.
Awesome.
You know, I worked on Degrassi and The Next Step and some really
Oh, I
fun
love
series.
it.
Yeah.
I love it.
So I worked there for a bit on the television side, and then I moved over to their corporate communications team after my internship. They hired me on as a communications assistant. So I really found that like the internship program allowed me to get my foot through the door.
Exactly.
And then after university, I'm very passionate about entertainment, and you'll see that throughout my career here. But I took some time to be a freelance music publicist. I'm really passionate about music. So basically, I worked with independent artists and record labels on their releases. Then I spent some time at a full-service marketing and communications agency where I feel like I really learned the ropes because agency life is so quick and fast-paced. You get to dip your toes into the social, the digital, the PR, the events, and you got a really well-rounded understanding of the media landscape. And then I led up the children's entertainment team over there, and I really wanted to step outside of children's entertainment because I felt like I had learned the ropes in that area and I wanted to shift over somewhere else, and that's when I started the hunt. I went on LinkedIn, Indeed. I saw TikTok was popping off at the beginning of 2020, and I thought, well, that's the place to be right now. I really did think the app was a little bit younger skewing and like for kids who wanted to dance to Renegade at the time.
my
So I
gosh,
just
yeah.
took the opportunity, and
For
it kind of leads us to where we are today, and I'm a client solutions manager at TikTok. I guess I didn't quite understand where I would see myself from like first picking my specialization in PR at Guelph Humber through to like navigating my career, but
Right.
I guess I just encourage everybody here to like take chances, take those opportunities. You might not be in PR or the specific realm that you start in, but you can like take those opportunities and see where you end up.
For sure, awesome. Thank you so much for that. Zoya, you want to?
Yeah, I think yeah.
Lovely.
So I graduated in 2020, so peak pandemic. I specialized in digital communication. So when I was doing Emerge, I was on the web design
Right,
part of
the
it.
whole behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I got my start in creating TikTok content, honestly, out of just like boredom at home, because it was like the pandemic had just started. I was at home. I wanted to like get creative. So my start with creating content was summer 2022. And yeah, it just kind of took off. That's my story. It's not as long as yours.
I'm so long-winded.
No, that's okay. That's okay. So obviously, like within your respective roles, you wear many hats. There's not just pressing record and posting it. So if you were to maybe just like simplify it in a couple of sentences, what are like some of your major job responsibilities? So again, we'll start with Victoria, and we'll go to.
Yeah, for sure. So as a client solutions manager, and it's okay if you don't know what the heck that means, because I didn't know when I started at TikTok either, but I basically do brand partnerships. So I work with quick service restaurants and dining restaurants like the McDonald's, the KFCs, the Tim Hortons of the world, but also I work with pharmaceutical clients, so on the other end, like the Pfizers and the Johnson & Johnsons, and I basically sell them advertising space on TikTok. So some of my day-to-day responsibilities, they kind of change because at a global tech company, it's really busy.
For sure.
But we plan and execute marketing campaigns for them. We launch creator programs like with Zoya or Naomi. We do a lot of project management. We do a lot of pitching to new clients. And even presentations from TikTok 101s teaching you how to use the platform and what we're all about through to like post-mortem campaign reports.
Love it. Love it. Zoya?
Yes. Okay, so for me, there are a couple different things. Because TikTok isn't my full-time job,
Right.
I do it on the side, and I do social media marketing for like my full-time job. So yeah, when it comes to TikTok, a lot of the stuff I do is like after work hours. I do filming, editing, all that stuff. But then the more like nitty-gritty stuff is replying to emails and actually seeking out agencies like what Victoria
Exactly.
and just like different brand partnerships. So there is a lot of back-end stuff that goes into it.
Yeah.
And people don't realize like the time it takes to actually create the content.
For sure.
Like I'll take like 3 hours to make.
Yeah, it's tough.
60
I
second
honestly,
video,
I really try to like be with this trends, like these kids, like with the transitions and the turns, and I try hard.
Okay, I'm sure you're great.
It's tough. It's tough. But
Harder than you think.
Yeah, it's harder than you think. Exactly. But yeah. So, anyways, kind of going more into some like journey specific roles. What was maybe the turning point kind of in your TikTok journey? So. I guess this would be like a specific question for you, Zoya, but was there like kind of one video that changed everything? Like, is there a specific story behind that?
Yeah, when I started creating videos, like the third video I made, I decided that I wanted to start a sketchbook series, and it was just for myself. Like I didn't expect people to actually enjoy it and watch along. So I posted that, and that was like, I had just created the account like a week ago. So I posted that first video of me being like, oh, hey, like I just want to fill my sketchbook in this summer. I make art TikToks. So yeah, like over the course of like a week, that one TikTok hit like a couple 100K views, and I started getting following. And then I realized that, oh, like people want to see this because it's like easy, quick content, and the stuff I was making is super easy, like easily digested by like a broad like group of people. But yeah, that's how it started, and then I just kept going. Like I started with the series, and then I just
And I think honestly, like what's super captivating is like, there's obviously such a message behind your art. You know, it's not just creating art. There's you're trying to amplify voices, and like I'm also South Asian. I'm also like Muslim. You know what I mean? So like I definitely resonate with all of your art. Hello, Naomi. Hi. You can hear me, okay?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm good. I'm good. Is Miami treating you well?
Yes, the sunshine is amazing.
That's awesome.
Can't complain.
I love it. I love it. So I'm just gonna kind of ask you the same question I asked Zoya, because we're kind of on the influencer side here. So same question as you. Kind of like, was there kind of maybe one video for you that really changed everything?
Yeah, it was actually the end of January 2020. And that month, I kind of made it a goal, like a New Year's resolution, to post every single day. And I honestly didn't even know what I was doing on TikTok at that point. Like, I did the cringy lip syncs, I did like the trending videos and stuff. But the one video that actually took off was like a vlog of me getting my nails done. And like voiceover vlogs weren't really a thing on TikTok at that point. But it kind of just like blew up. And I'm like, this is so random. But that really helped me to kind of figure out what type of content I personally enjoy and what really resonated with like an audience on there. So yeah, like within a month, I think I went from like 3K followers to like almost 50, I think, which
That's
was
awesome.
insane growth for any
All for the
any
nail
platform,
talk.
right?
Get on Nail Talk, everybody. It's where it's at. If you can, when did you maybe realize that you can kind of take content creation to the next level?
Honestly, within that first week of posting, because I was posting every day as well at the beginning, within that first week, I was seeing the results of like the work I was putting in. Because obviously I was an artist before I was a TikTok creator.
Right, yeah.
And I had just been using Instagram, and I wasn't seeing exponential growth, but I was seeing like sales here and there. But I felt so far away from like my goals. And then with TikTok, I saw it within a week, and I was seeing traffic to my website that I like hadn't seen in like a year. So as soon as I started seeing numbers, I was like, oh, I have to keep doing this in order for myself to like.
That's awesome.
I've been handed the perfect algorithm to like, get bigger.
I love it. Naomi, same question. So when did you kind of know that content creation was, you can kind of pursue that seriously? I mean, you did, I think you recently quit your job to become a full-time content creator, so must be great.
Yeah, I quit my job in August last year. But I was kind of making, honestly, like full-time income since like January, February, which is insane. But yeah, I kind of spent 2020 like really growing my platform. And then 2021 was like the year brands were starting to, I think, recognize that TikTok's a platform worth investing into. And that's when like, the brand deals started coming consistently.
Love it. Love it. Cool. Okay, so Victoria, same kind of question, but when did you kind of know that TikTok Canada was the right fit for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, you guys might laugh at me for this one, but I hadn't downloaded the app until I was actually hired at the company. As I mentioned, like I thought it was really younger skewing, thought it was just for like kids who wanted to dance. And then that week that I got hired, I was like, okay, I'm gonna download it. And with the TikTok algorithm, after the first 11 videos that you watch, the algorithm actually starts to learn your interests and your behaviors and then serves you content relevant to you. And then by the end of that week, I was absolutely hooked. I was seeing like sneakerhead content, I was seeing food content, and I'm a big foodie. I was seeing like comedy, and I just felt like I had never experienced a platform as entertaining and immersive as TikTok. And I was hooked on the platform itself. And then once, of course, I started like actually onboarding, the corporate culture at TikTok is just amazing. Like I onboarded in May 2020, so shortly after the global pandemic started, which was obviously a really big shift from like office environments and we were supposed to do onboarding in like the US and like all together, but they still made it such an engaging and an impactful experience for all of us and made us feel like we were still in the room together. So I just feel like the culture is just super diverse, super inclusive, and it paired with that like impactful platform, it's just a no-brainer.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of just like a, it goes hand in hand.
Exactly.
Cool. Okay. So moving on from an influencer standpoint, I guess again Zoya and Naomi, what do you enjoy most about creating TikToks, whether that be for leisure or for branded content? So when it's just you two, we'll go from Zoya and then we'll go to Naomi.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, oh my God. So what do you enjoy most about creating TikToks? Like for leisure or more for like the sponsored deals?
Honestly, like ever since a young age, I would make like fake YouTube videos and stuff. Like I love editing video footage together to like make fun content. Honestly, like making the video part of it is more fun to me than like actually doing the art that I'm doing in the videos. I love editing, I love doing the voiceovers, it's really fun for me. So before I started getting brand deals or getting paid, I just enjoyed like reaping benefits of like, oh, like people enjoy content that I'm creating. Like I'm putting in the work to make this and
People are
people
enjoying it.
are enjoying it, exactly.
yeah.
And then aside from like, obviously getting brand deals is nice, right?
Yes.
Yeah, just like the entire process is
Yeah, awesome. Naomi, what about you? Like anything like particular that stands out to you?
Yeah, honestly, like I think the platform as a whole was just something that like really fit with me because I also created content on YouTube before and Instagram and even had like a blog at one point, but TikTok, I'm like, this is the app for me. It's like the right fit, and I just like how it's like quick short form content that just isn't as time consuming, so it doesn't get draining. But yeah, love the whole entire thing.
I love it. Yeah, no, that's one of my favorite things too. It's kind of like, okay, cool. Is this getting anywhere? All right, next, let's go. Cool. Okay, so kind of like related, is there any like aspects of it that you don't find enjoyable?
I'm taking notes.
Okay, when you start seeing numbers, I think it puts a pressure on you to constantly create content. And then there have been like lulls in like my creation process where like I just didn't know what to make, and then I feel this pressure to either make more, or when I was posting every day, I felt super burnt out because I was spending like 3 to 4 hours on one video.
Right.
And then if I'm spending that much time on something and it doesn't do well, that like
It's just
affects
discouraging.
your,
Yeah,
obviously,
100%.
but it's hard. You need to like get past that and one, make things because you enjoy making them, and then two, realize that like not everything's gonna hit, but like it's okay. Just do what you do.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So inspiring. Oh, I love it. Naomi, what about you?
Yeah, I always joke with my friends. I'm like, people say like, do what you love and you'll never have to work a day in your life. And I'm like, no, do what you love and you work every single day of your life. So I just feel that, especially with TikTok, it's like posting every single day is what's considered being consistent. And sometimes, that can be a bit overwhelming and you get a little burnt out. So I think it's just finding that like balance between like work and life.
Yeah.
Now that my like hobby has become my career, if that makes sense.
Awesome. So Victoria, kind of similar, but what is your favorite part of, I guess, just about working at TikTok Canada?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not just saying it because I'm sitting with like two fabulous content creators, but if you ask anyone, like I am so invested in partnering with creators to bring my brand campaigns to life. And for some additional context, like we don't call creators influencers at TikTok because they do so much more than just influence people. Creators, of course, have that pre-established community and following on the platform where they can offer that third-party endorsement at scale. But at the same time, like Zoya, Naomi, and our robust creator community, they are expert content curators who understand the ecosystem and know how to produce content that just feels endemic to the platform. It comes across natively. Like, think about an ad that you see on TV. Think about an ad you see on Instagram, whether from a creator or just like a paid actor or something. You can tell it's an ad. When I partner with Naomi on my campaigns, for example, like you cannot tell that she's made an ad. It comes across so natively in your For You page experience that at the end you're like, oh wow, that was an ad for McDonald's.
You literally don't even realize.
Exactly, and I think that that's the beauty of it, and that's really how you make impactful brand campaigns at TikTok.
I love it. Yes, I love it. Okay, so kind of moving on. Is there anything, and this is for all of you, anything about your time at Guelph Humber that's kind of helped you in your current role? So I know you did mention, Victoria, your internship and things like that that's helped you. But anything specific, maybe a course, maybe like anything about the school that really, like, you're proud that you have the skill at TikTok?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the public relations courses that I took at Guelph Humber were great because our prof at the time was welcoming guest speakers. Every single class, for the latter half of the class, there was a different guest speaker who worked in the industry, whether it was like a corporate communications manager at TTC or somebody from an agency world. And what that allowed us to do is like, first and foremost, network. Like we had never really networked with industry professionals like that. But then it also gave us this like holistic insider's view into, different responsibilities that we can do, different roles in the industry that we could assume. And I just learned so much about the different avenues that I could get into. And then, of course, like I still have some of these connections to date. Like I follow them on LinkedIn, we stay connected. So I think that just allowed me to get the insider's look.
Yeah, and that's really funny that you say that because you were kind of like in my shoes a couple years ago. And like I had you as a guest speaker for my third year class, so it's like, everyone's growing.
Yeah, 360.
360. Zoya?
Yeah, for me, there were definitely a handful of profs that really made me feel like content creation was the right path for me. I remember like 2 specific instances. One was an elective and one was an actual media studies course. The media studies course specifically, I'm like blanking on the prof's name. I'm so sorry, but we had to make like fake YouTube videos to like sell him something. And I remember I made like a fake makeup tutorial, and he messaged me, like he emailed me, and then he talked to me in class, and he was like, hey, like, you should really like do YouTube. Like do you know YouTube's really big? And I was like, yeah, like I don't know. He's like, no, like you should make videos. And that really stuck with me. And I also had peers like telling me that I had a good online voice.
Yeah.
So yeah, that definitely did push me into that headspace to like make more content.
for sure. And like everyone's so close knit, small community,
Yeah.
right? So it's easy to kind of, get that,
100%.
I love it. Naomi?
Yeah, for me, I think the first 2 years at Guelph Humber where you learn a bit of everything was so key. Like I'm a grandma, so I graduated in 2014. So being a content creator wasn't even like really a career option that many of us thought of. But like now looking back, I'm just seeing like how it made me very adaptive. Like PR now, like learning about PR, I now kind of understand that side of things, and specializing in journalism, like that's kind of where I get all my script writing abilities from. So I think, just dabbling in a bit of everything, seriously, like, because that's what being a content creator is, like it's being a bit of everything.
It's literally everything, no, for sure. Exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking more into just sponsored content in general, so we've both seen you do some amazing sponsored content. So do you have any, I guess, tips for anyone in the audience who's looking to kind of start working with brands in a paid capacity? And what can they do to kind of make themselves stand out?
So I'm like gonna be completely transparent. I'm very behind on like getting brand deals. I have gotten some brand deals, but it's usually when brands are reaching out to me.
You're a lot farther than me.
And
We're gonna
so-
change that. Don't worry.
But yeah, so when brands reach out to me, that's great, and I feel wonderful about it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes, payday, love it. Like, and it's brands that like I like shop at and stuff like that. So that's wonderful. But recently, like in the recent few months, I've actually gotten into like websites and little like communities where creators can reach out to brands, and I feel like it's really making those connections. And then when you are creating content that like is brand specific, so I do a lot of art stuff, so a reoccurring brand that's like come to me a couple of times is Michaels, and like I've gone out of my way to like be annoying and email them more and be like, hey, like I love your guys' stuff, so that they keep coming back.
Right.
It's about building those partnerships and really communicating and like building these brand relationships. But I really do need to, Naomi can probably speak on like actually being in like influencer agencies and like obviously you, but yeah, I definitely need to step more into that, because I think that really does take your content creation and your like brand partnerships to the next level.
Yeah, love it. So Naomi, want to maybe add to that?
Yeah, like I always tell people that like I think TikTok is the best place to put your content on because it makes you so easily discoverable. Like I would say like 99% of my brand deals are incoming because it's just so easy for like the agencies and PR professionals to find you. But yeah, if you're starting out, I think like just making authentic content about brands that you genuinely love and like tagging them, and they will see that eventually, hopefully. That's the goal. And yeah, I agree with Zoya. I think cold emailing or even like DMing brands is also can also work sometimes, but I think that the first like main thing that you should do is just focus on building your brand, building your audience, and like just creating genuine content about brands you genuinely care about, and then they'll start coming to you.
Awesome. So yeah, I kind of just think like even kind of reaching out yourself too is definitely super helpful, not kind of waiting for, them to come to you. So that's great. So Victoria, from a client brand perspective, what do you look for when you're looking for creators to kind of work with?
Yeah, I mean, I love advising my brands. As I mentioned, like creator partnerships is like my specialty. So I love advising brands that I work with on who they should potentially be considering for a campaign or what they should be looking out for. I mean, it's a small world because Naomi and I have worked together on so many campaigns. We recently launched like a Taco Bell campaign. Even though she was in Cali, I sent her to Taco Bell, and I'm like, get your grub on. So we've done some fun stuff. So yeah, in short, Naomi, I'm just kidding. No, but for real, like I tell my clients, like really don't get bogged down in follower count. I find that other platforms have, given brands this idea that you should be looking for influencers who have like 5 million followers or just really focusing on the metrics. I think what we need to focus our attention on is the quality of the creator. How well does that creator speak to your brand voice? How well can they represent your campaign message? And is their audience going to feel like the message that we're saying with this campaign resonates with them?
Right.
Because we don't want, obviously, Michaels came to Zoya for a reason. Like, she's in the arts. Like, she fits it.
Yeah, she fits the
She
bill.
obviously buys stuff from there, probably. They're not going to go to a foodie creator and be like, hey, can you film an arts video for us? You
Yeah.
really need to figure out how they can speak to your brand voice and message.
Awesome. Thank you. So this next question is for all three of you. So again, we'll start with Victoria. As both content creators and consumers, what is one thing that maybe surprised you or maybe like you wish other consumers knew about professionally creating TikToks?
Yeah, I mean, from a brand creator perspective, and I think Zoya touched on this earlier too, but it's harder than you think. Like, we deliver a fully fleshed out creator brief to like creators like Naomi and Zoya that have legal requirements, you know, your campaign messaging, do's and don'ts, and all these things that we want them to do with their video. And maybe Zoya goes to Starbucks and she films her content and she delivers it to the client and they don't like it. So it's like, you got to reshoot it. So she has to go order, re-eat, re-drink it, like refilm everything. Hours and hours of production and editing go into each video. And although it might be a 10-second video, a 30-second video, a 60-second video, so much time went into it. So all I can say is like, show love. It costs $0 to show love to these brands.
Yes.
That like, that comment, that share, just like give back to them because they're making a living on this, right? Naomi's full-time now content creator. Like, these are things, they're giving you a reason to like be entertained, to be inspired. So I would just say show love to them.
Oh, I love it. Yes, I love it. Zoya, you wanna continue?
Yeah, for me, like the same thing you said, it's the time that gets put into it. Because, like, I personally try to stay away from stuff that's like falling into like trends to like get my views. So every single video I make, I am like putting together and like producing and editing, and it does take a chunk of my day. Like, sometimes it's embarrassing. I'll be at home like filming something for half the day and my mom will look at me and be like, are you not done? Like, it's a 30-second video, what is wrong with you? And I'm just like, I don't know. It's sometimes things just don't work out right, but the actual back-end stuff does take a lot of time. But yeah, just like creating. Because you want, for me, like, I want my page to be something that brands can look at and be like, oh, she like does voiceovers or she like reviews stuff. And that takes a bit longer than like the trendy stuff.
Right. It's more than just doing the regulars.
Yeah.
You know, we gotta impress Victoria over here.
Exactly.
Naomi, you wanna continue?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with everything that you said. It's just so time consuming. But again, if you genuinely like love it, and I do genuinely love it, and like it's worth it.
Awesome. Okay, so next we'll go back to Victoria. Any of your biggest tips for creating and sharing worthy TikToks? So you know, may not be able to give away all your secrets or anything like that, but anything specific that works for you?
Yeah, I mean, I would say never forget that TikTok is a sound-on platform. So, contrary to Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, where you've been conditioned to like produce content with a sound-off environment in mind, that's completely flipped on its head when you come to TikTok. So take advantage, because sound is your power tool on the platform. When you see a track by Drake popping up, or you see a fun soundbite by a creator, and they're starting to gain traction, that's when you hop on. But you have to make sure that you're leveraging that sound or song and making it your own, like adding your own unique twist, because you don't want to just do what everybody else is doing. It's not going to help you go viral. Just like step outside of the box, be funny, be lighthearted, be raw and authentic. That's what our community really celebrates and appreciates. So just take advantage of sound.
Take notes, everybody. Take notes, okay? Zoya?
Yeah, so I am, like, as I mentioned, I do social media marketing. My boss is actually here, hi.
Hello.
So with my clients even, I tell everyone to, like, if you have something you're trying to sell, I tell everyone that the algorithm on TikTok is very friendly to new creators. And if you're creating good content and putting time into it, people will see it. So I tell, like, whenever clients are like, no, like, it feels silly, I'm like, it doesn't have to be silly. Like, make content that's true to you and your brand. and you'll, sorry, you'll reap the rewards. Like you'll see the numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, like if anyone here
It's good to
has a
know.
small business, definitely take advantage of TikTok. Also showing your face, like your personality, talking about things
Yeah.
is so important. Yeah.
Awesome. Naomi? Any insight?
Yeah, I always tell people that like consistency is key, and like consistency does kill competition. So like as often as you can, try to continue to post and try out different things, because again, like I think doing like dance videos may not be for everyone, or lip syncs might not be for everyone, and that's
Yeah.
totally okay. And I think that the app has truly transformed into somewhere where you can be
Anyone.
truly your authentic self.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think just don't be afraid to put yourself out there and just
Yeah.
try everything and anything until you find something that
Yeah,
clicks.
no, for sure. Literally, it's curated for everyone personally, right? So, okay, so now we're gonna go into some busting some myths. So we're gonna go into fact or myth, okay? So we need to know, okay? So anyone who wants to answer, I guess, can just like answer. But does commenting FYP or hashtag For You page, like, does that actually like, get us on the For You page? Does that like really increase our chances of, going viral?
I mean, I can speak from a brand perspective
Yeah.
and what I've seen on, like, I guess on my For You page. I want to tell you that I like cracked the algorithm and I know how to go viral, but I really don't. And I don't think that commenting FYP or using that hashtag will really make you go viral on TikTok. I think it really all comes down to quality of content. TikTok is a content graph. It's not a social media platform. Like you're on Instagram, but you're basically seeing content from your friends, your family, and a couple influencers you follow. On TikTok, it's completely different. You get served content that you're genuinely interested in. So I think that the key is to tap into the creative best practices that just make your content captivating and sticky. So tapping into the trending sounds, leveraging, upbeat music, vibrant colors, quick pacing, all of those different tactics that can make your content really stand out. But
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen much
Okay.
success with that. I don't know.
Okay, so it's a myth,
girl-
guys. It's a myth. It's a myth. I don't know if you guys want to talk from like a content creator standpoint, but
No, I agree.
yeah,
I agree.
myth.
With you. Yeah,
It's a myth, guys. Spread the
Yeah.
word. It's a myth. Okay. What is your guys' favorite TikTok sound or trend, like all time or current? So Victoria, I guess we can start with you.
Okay. So I think my favorite like sound trend was probably that Drake voiceover, and he was like, "What do you mean, breathe, breathe? Don't tell me to breathe.
Yes.
Yo, bring me a shot, bring me a shot." And then
Yes.
the users had me rolling on the floor with that one. It was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Zoya?
For me, it's not a specific trend, but I love just watching makeup transformations, especially like South Asian ones. Love, love, love. Like I will
For sure.
repeat. Yeah, so good. So good.
Satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah, time lapse that. Yes. Naomi, what about you?
Yeah, I was gonna say like any transition, it
Okay.
just like blows me away because people are just so smooth and creative
So
with it, and I'm just
smooth.
always in awe.
Like so smooth. There's like not a glitch in there at all. Okay, so we're almost wrapping up here. So what is the best time to post on the app? Like, have you seen improvements in your engagement rates, or like, just even like working there that like, is better to post at a certain time than another?
I mean, from like from a creator and business perspective, you have a business account. So you have access to an organic reporting dashboard that shows you insights about your account, where your audience resides. Maybe like Zoya's audience is primarily in Toronto, or her biggest,
Yeah.
pool of her audience. So she's probably going to want to post in like EST time.
Right.
So just making sure you're keeping track of those things. But of course, like evenings and weekends when everybody's just chilling, great time to post. But I've also seen like really random things blow up. Okay, so one time I posted like a random video with a trending voiceover, and for like 3 weeks it had 100 views. Then I woke up one morning and there was 80,000 views on the
Oh,
video, and it was
wow.
popping off, and I was like, this is the weirdest video, like it makes no sense. But it can happen at any time. I would just say, like, from a brand and creator perspective, there is
Yeah.
like optimal times I guess you should
So
post.
like it may not even happen like at once. Like 2 weeks will pass by and
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
about
Interesting.
creators though.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That is the smart way to go about it. But I'm a very anxious human being, and I don't like. For me, this isn't going to help anyone strategically, but I always post in the nights because I just want to fall asleep and not like constantly check my phone. But honestly, like that for me has worked. Like I post so late in the day and then I wake up and it's like the numbers are there.
Yeah.
But yeah, you should be checking the times. You should be.
The dashboard is a good idea. I didn't even think about that.
I don't, but the thing is, like with the TikTok algorithm, it pushes things randomly. Like I get videos that are half a year old that are getting like more views.
Yeah.
So I think it's like very dependent on your content.
On your content,
Yeah.
for sure. You probably have some late night scrollers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Naomi, what about you?
Yeah, personally for me, I find that like the 6 p.m. to like 8 p.m. time is best, and like always like EST as well. So even when I'm traveling, I try to like post around that time. But yeah, sometimes I'll just feel like being a rebel and post at like 11. That video still does good.
Live on the wild side. Why
it's
not?
so hard
Okay, awesome. So that is it from me. We do have a Q&A if anyone has any questions. I also have some here from some live streams and from before. But if anyone has a question from the audience, we can maybe get a mic over there.
Hi. Oh, sorry.
Hello.
This is kind of a question for all of you. I'm just curious, do you ever get overwhelmed with how quickly the trends are changing and emerging to kind of keep up with what's going on and how many are constantly happening at the same time?
Yeah, I definitely get overwhelmed. Not necessarily trends, but whenever there's like a new like app update, because I'm like, oh no, what's been working for me is gonna stop working. And then when I see like, when I scroll too much, it does get me like very anxious and overwhelmed because I'm like, oh my God, there's so many other creators doing the exact same thing as me. What makes me different? But you need to like get that out of your head and just like keep doing what you're doing. Obviously adapt to changes. But if like, it's a very easy like overwhelming spiral if like I just keep thinking about that stuff.
Yeah, I would agree. I would say I'm not necessarily overwhelmed with the trends, but maybe it's because I'm more on the business side of things. It's a global tech company, so things are changing each and every day, and I'm always overwhelmed because I have to learn the new platform updates to be able to teach the creators and teach the brands that I'm working with and make sure that I have that knowledge to share with others as well. So I would say it's just ever changing, and you have to be really adaptive. But if you are like willing to be part of a kind of a startup tech company and you're a fast learner, like you'll be completely good with it.
Maybe Naomi, I don't know if you want to add.
Yeah, I try to just keep a laser focus on like me and my content instead of specifically trends, and I think that definitely helps. It gives you one less thing to worry about. So again, I think just focus on like what you're good at, what you enjoy creating, and I think it'll all work out.
Awesome. Any more questions? Yes. We got a runner.
Hi, I know you guys said something about hashtag being a myth, but are there any that would kind of boost your content or like recommend?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say from like posting on in an organic perspective that hashtags really drive that engagement at scale, but we do have like ad solutions at TikTok, such as, you might be familiar if you've been on the Discover feed ever, but there's something called the branded hashtag challenge. And brands will essentially purchase a hashtag challenge and partner with creators to bring that hashtag to life. So like we did one with Starbucks earlier this year called hashtag My Starbucks Order. And what we aim to do with like a branded hashtag is there's paid media behind it, so it amplifies it. And we were just tackling like order anxiety and making this process really simplified to order from Starbucks. So I would say from an organic hashtag, maybe not so much, but a paid hashtag for sure.
Good to know.
Yeah, and on a creator standpoint, I think hashtags do help, but not stuff like FYP. Usually for me, when I know like a big thing's coming, so like the holidays are coming around, this is the one and only time I ended up on like the main explore page, like you know how it has sections. I was like creating my content, and while I was putting the hashtags in, I was like guessing what those hashtags would be like a week in advance, because I don't know how things work on the back end, but like your content needs to exist before the things happening for them to have it there for when it like when December 25th rolls around, right? So that's what I try to do when like any major like holiday or event is happening. Other than that, just like trying to categorize my content. So if I'm targeting like, if my art's like specifically like South Asian or like Desi, I would use those hashtags. But if it's generic, I do that just to like categorize it. But yeah.
Awesome. Naomi, any other like insights?
I personally don't really use hashtags as often right now, but I think it's definitely important in the beginning to find your audience. Like I would do a lot of like hashtag help me get to like the Toronto Canadian audience, and it also helps brands to find you easier. But yeah, when searching like and using hashtags, I would definitely recommend avoiding the super big generic ones. Like instead of just like fashion, make it more specific, and try to find. I think like 100,000 to like 1 million is probably the best instead of having a hashtag that has like 40 billion uses.
Right.
That's what I personally find works.
Awesome. Any other questions?
Hello, my name is Manaha. So my question to all of you is, I mean, like, you know, when you create content, you do receive negative comments. So how do you guys deal with it? And like, I'm pretty sure it does take a toll on your mental health. So does that affect the ability to create content? Like, how do you guys deal with it? Awesome question.
Sure, yeah, I can check. I think I've been lucky. The community that follows me on TikTok is super supportive, super supportive. I've gotten a couple comments here and there that I've honestly just dismissed. I do feel like maybe I'll reach a point where I'm getting more of those, but as of right now, the ones that I do get don't necessarily affect me. I feel like I have pretty thick skin when it comes to comments online. Because even like back when I only had 1,000 followers on Instagram, I was getting like weird comments because people don't like my art or like they don't like what I'm trying to say just because some of the topics that I speak on are kind of sensitive. So I have definitely gotten like hate comments or like threats in the past, but I honestly don't pay them any mind. I know this isn't helpful advice, but I can't take hate comments seriously.
Just shrug it off the shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. Naomi, I know you have lots to say about this because I watch your TikTok and I like remember one specifically where you like replied to a specific comment.
Yeah, I definitely deal with it with humor.
Yeah.
Like, so sometimes people will be like, oh, you have such a big board. I was like, yeah, and Rihanna is our president of the Big Boring Club. So just, I think, dealing with humor, but obviously it does like get to you. So what I've started doing is like, I'll screenshot all of like the really nice and encouraging comments, and I have a folder on my phone that now I can go to anytime I'm like doubting myself or doubting my abilities, and stuff like that. So yeah, I definitely recommend just trying to focus on the good instead of like the 1 or 2 bad comments that you get.
Awesome. Thank you. Any other questions? Yeah, right here.
Question for all three of you, if you're comfortable with it. What are your usernames?
Okay, are you trying to make me viral? I'm trying to be viral like these girls. I'm at Vic Manakis, VICMANAKIS. You're going to get hungry because I post a lot of food content.
We love the foodies. It's okay.
Mine is Zoyers, so it's Zoyerss, 2 S's.
2 S's.
Yes.
I always get confused. Okay. Naomi?
And mine's Naomi Lanage, so NAOMI, and then LEANAGE.
Awesome. Got that? Lovely. All right. Next question. If we have any. Lovely.
Yeah, we have one on Zoom, so Emily's going to read that one.
Via live stream.
Our question on Zoom is, where do you guys think the future of TikTok is? And do you think that it will continue to stay as strong as it is and stay one of the leading platforms? Lovely question.
I mean, I think that's a great question. At this point in time, like TikTok is a huge media disruptor, as we've seen since, I guess, the beginning of Gen 2020. And other platforms, they're trying to mimic us, but at the same time, I think what makes us so unique is our robust community of content creators. I think that they are, like Naomi said, she's posted on other platforms in the past, but she's never really had a platform as joyful, as inclusive, as entertaining and immersive as TikTok. And I think that there's certain values that people come to TikTok for where we just want to be immersed, we just want to be entertained, and I think that the future of TikTok can only go upwards from here.
That's awesome. Any other insights?
No, I agree with Victoria. I think that with anything, like obviously like new things will pop up, but like for now, I think it's just getting bigger at the moment.
I love it. Okay, Naomi, same.
Yeah, I think
Agree.
I definitely had that fear of like TikTok being like pulled out from under me, like the rug will be pulled out from under you. But honestly, it's like an app that you're just learning so much from and getting so many like transferable skills anyways. And yeah, even like the Toronto TikTok office has like grown exponentially over just the last couple of months, like talking to other employees and stuff. So I definitely feel like it's here to stay.
Yeah, even if you look at, like, if you go on Instagram Reels, how many of them are you seeing that have the TikTok watermark on them? Like
Yeah.
all the Reels have the TikTok watermark. The content is coming from TikTok, regardless of where it's existing elsewhere. So I really think that we are that industry disruptor, and we're here to stay.
Taking over. Next question.
This is more targeted to Victoria. Do you have a favorite brand campaign that you've worked on?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I had a lot of fun working on that Starbucks campaign, that My Starbucks Order one. But I also, before I worked with like food brands and pharmaceutical brands, I worked across a lot of different like categories because the team was so small. As Naomi mentioned, like we've been growing exponentially, but I was the 25th employee in Canada. So it was very small when I started, and I had to work across a bunch of different clients. And I worked on Shoppers Drug Mart and the beauty vertical at one point. And we did a huge campaign with them last fall for their beauty campaign season. And it was really fun. Like creators were able to, we built like a filter, and creators were able to tap between different looks. And it was like a skincare look, a full glam look, and then you would recreate like that look on your own. And it was part of like a huge hashtag challenge. So it was really immersive and fun to see everybody's creativity come to life, and just the impact that TikTok has in driving like co-creation and community engagement at scale.
Awesome. Another question?
Hi. So this could be a little more towards the business side, but in my own personal experience on TikTok, I've found that my consistency of posting and my quantity of posting have kind of directly affected my channel. Would you say that the algorithm values the quantity of like how many videos you're posting per day versus the consistency or the quality of them?
I think that what's most important is probably the quality of the videos. I wouldn't say, I mean, maybe you guys know as creators a little bit more because I'm not posting myself, but from my brand perspective, I would say the quality of content really speaks most. As long as you are tapping into the best practices and not, maybe not like flooding your feed, like try to spread your content out a little bit more, but make sure that it's really high quality content that speaks to the TikTok community and still comes across natively on the platform. Like that's the best approach to take, and then like focus maybe less on like how often you're posting, maybe like a couple times a week or like once a day, rather than maybe multiple times a day, for example.
Yeah, there's been a lot of post 3 times a day, post 4 times a day, like rhetoric online, and I don't agree with that at all because it depends what your goal is. Because if you are posting 4 times a day, your content's not going to be stuff that is like well produced. It's going to be smaller. It's going to be like those trends. Yeah. So it depends what your goal is. If you are looking to just get like quick views, like that's fine. But if your goal is to like work with those brands, they value that content where it's like a bit more curated. So I don't think posting multiple times a day is going to get you that. But yeah.
Cool. Awesome. Any other questions? Lovely.
Hi.
Hello.
So are you guys worried that TikTok is going to have the same fate as Vine did all those years ago?
Yeah, I remember Vine. It's funny because one of the like guest speaking classes I think I did with like one of your classes.
Yeah.
I mentioned Vine and everybody kind of looked around and I was like, wow, did I just age myself? Nobody knows Vine right now. But I think that there's a lot more stickiness with the Vine platform because of our community on TikTok. Like TikTok really starts with community and the creators make the platform what it is. So I would say it's probably going to stick around because like people are making their like livelihood off of TikTok. Brands are so immersed in the platform, and we've never really experienced a platform like TikTok before. It is so different than your average social media app, and it's so immersive. And to give you some perspective, like the average minutes that a user spends in session is around 80 minutes per session. And the average amount of times that a user comes back to TikTok per day is 18 times, 18 app opens per day. So when you think about that at scale, like how many people are, it's longer than your average Netflix show. Like that is so immersive, and that really shows the impact of the platform and how engaging it is. Sometimes I get this like notice as I'm scrolling through my For You page, and it's like, whoop, you've been scrolling too long, like you should go get a glass of water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, how have I been on this for like 2 hours right now? And you don't realize it because it is that immersive.
Yeah, no, for sure. Any other insight?
I definitely do worry because I like.
It's your job.
Yeah, I definitely worry because I do feel like things are always changing. But I also agree with like we've never seen something like as big as TikTok. So hopefully not, but it might.
Naomi, Vine versus TikTok.
Yeah, I definitely think, like Victoria said, because TikTok is such a community-focused app, as creators, we're not as worried because it's like, okay, the goal is to build community, and we just should be confident enough that we can bring that community to any other platform that comes up if something does happen to TikTok. And again, like TikTok is partnering with like the Cannes like film festival, like just like New York Fashion Week and stuff, and like all these other kind of like real world brands and platforms that have been around for decades are like partnering with TikTok these days. So I think that's also like a huge indicator to say like, no, TikTok's here to stay.
Yeah, I mean, and even from like an e-commerce perspective, there's integrations with like Shopify and like big global tech companies that just open up so many additional doors. It's like exciting to see what the future holds.
Awesome. Any other questions? Lovely. We have one over here.
So I guess like to piggyback off of like the fear of TikTok kind of like diminishing, do you guys think that like maybe not to put like your eggs all in one basket? Do you kind of do content also for Instagram and kind of like split it like half and half, or?
Yeah, a lot of my content definitely exists on TikTok way more than it does on Instagram right now. I do try to spread it out. I think I need to be better at doing that. You brought up a great point because like if that does happen, then all my content's gone. My main source, like brands find me off TikTok. They're not finding me off Instagram. So yeah, I definitely need to be better at spreading my content out, doing other things. But that's also why I have like another job. Like I do a bunch of like freelance and stuff like that.
Naomi?
Yeah, I definitely have all of my eggs in the TikTok basket. But now that like, you know, Instagram has Reels and even YouTube has Shorts, I'm starting to repurpose that content. So, you know, it's less time consuming than creating 3 separate pieces of content. But for now, I'm like, TikTok is like where all of my income's coming from. Like it's where my biggest audience is. So I don't even feel bad about like focusing all my time and energy into that one platform for now. But I know that if I do need to adapt, like I can easily do that at least.
We're easily adaptable. We have phones 24/7. We got this. I think you have a question in the back there, Natasha.
So this might be more for Victoria, but I was wondering if Duolingo's account has revolutionized how brands are interacting on TikTok or getting the message across, because it's been really big. And then I've seen other brands following that same kind of commenting as like more personalities rather than a big brand with like proper messaging.
Yeah, you bring up an amazing point, and when we talk about best-in-class brands on TikTok, Duolingo is always in that mix. I think what's unique about their perspective and what we try to encourage other brands to champion is to have a voice that feels less like a brand and more like human-to-human interaction. Like, make sure that you are engaging with the community in an authentic way. Like, communities on TikTok really value brands that show up as their true selves and, you know, comment authentically and have a really genuine experience. I love seeing like community engagement, like the social teams at some of these brand companies and their agencies is really awesome. Like KFC is an amazing example of one of my clients who just finds a way to produce content that's really native to the app, but also engages with the community from like a community engagement perspective in a really unique way. They comment really funny things. I saw Roots one time. They did something similar. So this one girl bought a pair of like Walmart track pants, and she printed the Roots logo on them, and then she put that voiceover, "Oh, nobody's gonna know, nobody's gonna know," and then Roots commented, "Oh, we know." And I just think that that's hilarious. And then people, like thousands of people were liking and commenting back to Roots, and it's just a really fun way to interact with brands. And Duolingo obviously has taken that to the next level.
It's literally like our own little like lingo and our own little like language that we all just have. Like parents, they don't understand that, but it makes so much sense.
Yeah,
you know? The trend fits. It fits.
Definitely.
But yeah, any more insights, or we move on to the next question? We move on? Yeah, right here.
I've got a question for Victoria. Actually, it's around TikTok advertising. So we're having a lot of conversations with clients right now trying to get them to consider TikTok and move to TikTok. And there's some hesitation there, obviously, and it's a pretty significant investment if you're going to run content there regularly. So one of the things, I haven't actually played with TikTok advertising yet, so my question is sort of twofold. Number one, what size of budget would you say ish you need to kind of get started? Because I know like LinkedIn is a lot higher than Facebook, for example. And secondly, if we have brands that are hesitant to get started, is it a worthwhile strategy for them to try ads first, or do they really need to have that organic presence before it's worth investing in ads?
Yeah, those are two great questions. So to answer your first question, it is as cheap as $50 a day to get started with in-feed video. But in terms of like a recommendation to make an actual impact, like start with, I don't know, like $5K a week, depending on like what brands you're working with, of course, or what creators you're working with and their budgets. But I think that that can drive, you know, like impressions and reach at scale depending on the marketing objective. And then of course, once you start to gather your learnings and test and learn with different ad, you know, placements and solutions, you can scale upwards and, you know, determine your approach there. And then I guess in terms of, you know, sorry, remind me what your second question was.
Just one of the thoughts that I had was like, if they're hesitant to start into TikTok, would you start with ads, and if you make an impact, then we can invest in organic, or is that?
Yeah, so we encourage brands to honestly start with ads first, because it allows you, like with organic, you might not have the like reach and the scale that you're looking for to gather the learnings that you need. So I would say like start with some in-feed video ads. It's the lowest hanging fruit. It's the most flexible, scalable ad solution. Lots of targeting capabilities there. And then, of course, when you have like enough content to sustain an organic social media profile, that's when you can create it. But you can run, you know, dark posts as in-feed videos. You can partner with like Zoya and Naomi and creators to run like boosted posts, like we call them Spark ads at TikTok. So I would say that that's the best approach to take. And then you can see how the community is like interacting with your creative. You can test and learn against like brand assets versus creator-led assets and really see what's resonating with the TikTok community. And then of course, like scale your content strategy and your media strategy from there.
Awesome. Anybody else?
I think we had a couple Zoom questions.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is, how long do you think that one can be a content creator on a platform like TikTok? And do you see it as something that can be done long-term, example, over 10 years?
A decade? Probably not. I'm not sure, honestly. Because, like, for example, people were on YouTube for, like, a decade doing that as their full-time job. So probably if TikTok has the same, I know they introduce longer form, like 10-minute videos. Yeah. So if it has the same effect that YouTube did, and if they're trying to go in that direction, like why not? But I do think that because we're in this like world where like everything's changing all the time, the question like before about having your eggs in one basket, it definitely is good to like have that backup of, oh, once I do this for this many years, it'll lead me to this. Like I'm sure with Naomi, like her brand deals lead her to like other opportunities, right? That that aren't directly related to like making that TikTok video.
Right. Anybody else?
I think there was one more.
Zoom.
This one was for Victoria. If you're a brand looking to advertise on TikTok, what advice would you give to them? How to reach your audience, how to get more views, etc.? And what do you think about companies commenting on regular people's TikToks that mention them?
Yeah, that's a great few questions. I think first and foremost, the most important question to start with your brand on TikTok is like, what's your objective? What's your advertising goal? Are you looking to achieve awareness and reach with your campaign message? Are you looking to drive app installs of the McDonald's Rewards app? Are you looking to drive conversions and like sales? So really finding out what their objective is first is like the key priority, and then ensuring that you are tailoring your creative content to that objective is really important. So let's say you're looking to drive like app installs of the KFC app. You want to make sure that the creative that you're developing taps into all of our creative best practices, perhaps, you know, partners with the creator, but also includes direct response messaging that makes that consumer take that action. That's really important, and I think the rest kind of falls into place. Like testing and learning when first getting started is super important.
Awesome, thank you. Anybody have any other questions? We're good. Okay, so I know I had one from Instagram. We like put it up before. If you started all over, what would you guys do differently? It's a thinker. It's a thinker.
I mean, like, I work at the company, so I feel like it will be so different to hear from the creators on this. I don't think I would do too much different in terms of the avenue that I took to get to TikTok.
Yeah.
But I think, like, looking forward now, I don't think that there's a limit. There's so many options to move, like, laterally at the company. Maybe I want to join the creator team and be the ones, like, completely managing, like Zoya and Naomi. Maybe I want to work on the product side and like build new solutions and change the user interface of the app. So I think just keeping options open.
Awesome. Zoya?
Yeah, for me, there were definitely times early on, even though I was seeing numbers, I wasn't, like I saw the numbers, but it didn't mean anything to me. I was just like, okay, it's just
views.
Whatever, it's just views. And people around me were like, no, like, what do you mean? Like, you can take this, like, whatever. And I didn't take it as seriously as I feel like I should have, because there were definitely times where I just like stopped posting and I didn't care because I like did have other jobs.
Yeah, other responsibilities. Yeah, for sure.
But I think about it now and I feel like if I had, maybe I would be in a different position right now. Maybe like my art would be bigger, but
no,
I'm happy with,
No, I think everything happens for a reason. You're exactly where you gotta be. Don't worry. Naomi, what about you?
Yeah, I'm definitely grateful for, I think, the journey that I've been on. But I think I would try to be more consistent sooner, if that makes sense. Like the first year in 2020, like when growth and even like exposure was just insane, like off the charts, to just post more consistently during that year. I think I did my best though, honestly. So I'm happy with where I am right now.
It's tough. It takes a lot. So awesome. All right, so just some like exiting just remarks here, finishing up. How do aspiring TikTok pros, whether they want to be in front of the For You page or behind, get to where you guys are? So some tips for some incoming Gulf Humber students.
Yeah, I mean, from, I guess, the business perspective, if you're looking to assume a similar role to myself or in the tech industry, I would say keep your options open. As I mentioned earlier, it really doesn't matter like what specialization you choose in university or, you know, what your first few career jobs look like. If you see something on LinkedIn, if you come across a job and you're like, oh, I'm not sure if I'm like qualified for that, take a risk. Because I didn't know what I was getting myself into, but you can adapt. You can learn the skills that you need to like take on that role. Gulf Humber gives you such amazing like fundamental skills in the industry, from like networking, communication, presentation skills. And once you have those fundamentals, if you are willing to learn and self-teach, then you can assume any role that you want. So just take your risks.
Awesome. Zoya?
Yeah, on a creator standpoint, I just think that, one, do what you love, create stuff that you actually like find happiness from. Two, stay consistent. And if you're in school, being in school, I think is the perfect time to like discover what you like doing, like creating art, creating the content you want to make. And also, if that is your dream, like to be a content creator, to like make art, to do more like social media stuff, I always tell people to have, like if income is what you're looking for, have a job. Like you need to fund your dreams before your dreams can start funding you.
That's awesome.
So have your job, do what you love, and then you'll see the benefits of it if you stay consistent.
Awesome. Thank you. Naomi, want to wrap us up?
Yeah, I feel like my advice is going to be very cliche, but it's what works. But like being consistent, and I also love Gary Vee, and he's someone that I always like look to for advice, like during my creator journey. And he always says to like document the process, because you don't have to be successful to start. Like people just love coming into your world. So yeah, like if you have that part-time job working at Dairy Queen, and we've actually seen it on TikTok, right?
Yeah.
A creator filmed his processes of making cakes at Dairy Queen, and like now is gonna start his own like ice cream shop, I think in New York or something like that. But yeah, I think just like overcoming that fear and that like sense of rejection, and it might be discouraging at times, but you just got to keep pushing through. Like me and all the creators I even know and are friends with, like it's just, we kept showing up even though we had like 10 views, and eventually the hard work and consistency paid off.
That's awesome. Honestly, like it's so inspiring just, being Gulf Humber students, like being in these chairs. You guys, once all sat in our chairs. So like, thank you again for honestly just being here, tuning in, taking the time out of your jobs and, your days to really join us. That does wrap up our session. So thank you guys again.
Thanks for having
Really
us.
appreciate it. Round of applause, everybody.
Oh my God, thank you.
So great. That was such an interesting look into TikTok and its impact on the media industry. Thank you, ladies, so much for joining us today. All right. So very interesting. I'm a huge fan of TikTok, and I'm not just saying that this session was interesting because I'm old enough to actually remember when TikTok was just a Kesha song. It's safe to say that even for those who learned of TikTok, the app, before TikTok, the song, these three guests provided an amazing, unique glimpse into an insider's perspective of the powerhouse social media app.
Definitely. And for those who still haven't heard the song TikTok, you could say this is your sign to take a quick music break before the next session starts.
And a perfect time for us to make our duo debut on TikTok.
Thank you, Victoria, Naomi, and Zoya for sharing your experiences and insights on TikTok. We are so happy to see that Guelph Humber alumni are doing so well in their careers. To our online attendees who are watching us from home, school, or wherever you are, this marks the end of our first sessions of the Emerge 2022, the Media Reset, Day 1 of our live stream. Just a reminder that the Marketing Makeover Challenge live stream will begin at 4 p.m., and Day 2 of our conference will take place at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you all really soon. All right, we're gonna keep going real quickly here.
Wasn't that just incredible? It's been a great morning so far.
Yes, absolutely. What was your favorite part so far? I think mine was TikTok, but I think, I could be a bit biased.
Yeah, I loved hearing from Gian. I appreciate how real he is with us when he was sharing his story. So,
That is a good choice.
guess what time it is, everybody?
It is lunchtime.
All right. Okay. Usually the person who says, guess what, is the one that gets to tell everybody what it is.
I know, but I'm honestly just really hungry and I couldn't contain myself. So how about I make it up to you?
And how am I gonna do that?
By letting you say the rest, of course.
Well then, obviously, if you couldn't tell already, it is time for lunch, but this is not just any old lunch. You have the exciting opportunity to mix and mingle with the students who worked so hard to plan and execute our amazing conference. Our classmates will be walking around the lunch hall for that period of time, so please feel free to ask them anything you wish about the Media and Communication Studies program and Emerge. And to our wonderful guest speakers, you are also more than welcome to join us for lunch if you are able to do so.
All right, so with that being said, COVID-19 safety precautions are in place at the lunch hall. We have cruiser tables set up for you to rest at, and our classmates will be wearing masks at all times. You are free to walk around the space and eat your food, but be sure to keep your distance from one another so we may all enjoy the safest lunch possible.
And one more thing, be sure to check out the visual showcase at the back there and say hi to Riley Little from the Student Recruitment Department over there. She has a table set up and is able to answer any questions about admissions or Guelph Humber in general. Lunch will be about an hour long. I believe we're a little bit ahead of schedule right now. So please, we will all be meeting back in the GH atrium around 1:15 p.m. so that you guys can be brought to your workshop sessions. And of course, if you have anything to share, please tag us at EmergeTO using hashtag Emerge2022 and hashtag the Media Reset.
Each of you this morning were assigned a sticker that correlates to which hands-on workshop that you'll be participating in. So red is for virtual reality, blue is for photography, and green is for videography. Guides will be holding up signs, so when lunch is over, please find your respective representatives and they will bring you to your rooms.
We will now ask that you follow your guides to the Guelph Humber atrium where you will find a delicious spread provided by the Fresh Fork, our on-site caterer. If you look to the back, your guides will be holding up their Emerge 2022 signs. And please feel free to leave your coats or any belongings that you would like in here.
See y'all soon. Sorry, that's
hey, ha, 1, 2, hey, ha, 1, 2, 2, hey, 1, 2, ha, 2, hey, ha, 1, 2, ha.